In today's episode, we will discuss about the interrupts. Interrupt is one of the important process in the microprocessor which is used to access the data from the peripheral devices. So, today we will discuss the definition or what is the meaning of interrupt, after the interrupt how the processor will perform and what are the classifications of the interrupts. So, interrupt is the data transfer between the processor and the peripheral device on the demand basis or with a request. So, once the interrupt is received means the processor cannot be activate immediately, because we have to activate the internal interrupt flag which is IE. So, IE is one of the flag in the microprocessor. So, before activating the interrupt we have to enable this flag. So, after enabling the flag, now the processor is ready to receive the interrupt from the external devices. So, after receiving the interrupt, the processor temporarily suspend its current work, then switch over to the specified location. So, once the interrupt is received means the processor is used to complete the specific task. So, the processor may be immediately respond or a delayed response it will be performed. So, each interrupt has a specific location, a specific subroutines. So, the microprocessor always check the interrupt during the second T state of the all machine cycles, or during the execution of every instruction in a microprocessor will check the second T states of the each machine cycles, because that time only we are performing the completion of read and write operations. This interrupt process is asynchronous process, because it is independent of the internal clock frequency of the microprocessor. It can operate with any frequency, it is independent or it is not dependent on the clock frequency of the microprocessor. That is why it named as a asynchronous. So, in the interrupt is mostly activated in the emergency case. When any emergencies exist, then the processor will be activated and complete its the requested service as soon as possible. So, generally how the interrupt is processed with a processor, microprocessor means, once the interrupt request is received, the microprocessor complete its current work, then switch over to the or jump to the specified location. That specified location is a service routine or interrupt service routine. This also called as a interrupt service routine. So, each interrupt have a specific interrupt service routine. So, after getting the request, the processor may be processed immediately or delayed based on the interrupt types, because we have a number of interrupts, each interrupt has assigned with the priorities. So, based on the priority, the processor will respond to the request. So, after getting the interrupt, how the processor is executing the interrupt request? When the interrupt request is received from the external device or peripheral device or input device or output device, the processor immediately suspends its current work, then it switch over to the specified location. Before switch over to the location, it send the interrupt acknowledgement signal. This diagram shows the data transfer between the IO device and the processor. So, this IO device initially send the interrupt request to the processor. So, processor complete its current work, then it send the interrupt acknowledgement signal. Once the IO device get the interrupt acknowledgement signal, then it will perform the interrupt process. So, after loading the interrupt address, now the processor send the interrupt acknowledgement signal. So, what is interrupt service routine? Interrupt service routine is a small program or subroutine or subprogram. When the external device requests the processor switch over and do the requested service, that is it will execute the subprogram. That subprogram is a driver program or the corresponding interrupts service routine. So, it is called as a ISR. So, this ISR is again defined as the external device wants the processor to service the call subroutine. This subroutine is called as the interrupt service routine. So, this is a main program execution. Generally, the programs consists of the main program. So, main program is the instructions which are followed in that program. Then subprogram means which are oftenly used or very rarely we are using that program which is called as a subprogram. So, here we have a main program and subprogram. The main program consists number of instructions. So, when we want to execute the program, first we have to load the starting address into the program counter. Suppose the program starting address is 5000, then the 5000 is loaded into the program counter. So, after starting the execution, it automatically execute. So, the instruction will be increased by 1, then it will take the next instruction, then it will execute. So, this kind of instructions will follow or continuously execute the instructions. Once it reach the call instruction, so that time it will switch over to the subprogram. So, before switch overing to the subprogram or new address, the present address is loaded into the stack pointer. By push the instruction, the present value is loaded into the stack pointer. Now, the new value which is the address of the subprogram, suppose 4000 means, now the 4000 is loaded into the program counter. So, now automatically the program counter take the 4000 and read the instructions. The subprogram is always terminated by using the return instruction. It read the return instruction, it concludes that the subprogram is over. Then it has to return back to the main program. To read or to return to the main program, so it has to know where to return back in the main program. So, for that, with the help of stack pointer, it will pop which already stored into the stack pointer, pop the instruction and load into the program counter. Now, the program counter value is suppose 5008 means the corresponding address will be loaded in the program counter. Now, it will start to execute from 5008, 5009, then continuously execute till the halt instruction. So, halt instruction is used to terminate the program. So, this is the flow of execution for the call subprogram or also for the interrupt service routine. So, mainly the program consists of the main program and subprogram. When we are the main program consists of number of instructions, the main program is terminated with the halt instruction. The subprogram having the driver program or the requested service will be written on the instruction which is in the subprogram. The subprogram is terminated by the return instruction. We have to use RET to terminate the subprogram. Okay. So, now the program is executed. Once we are starting the execution of the program, the starting address will be loaded in the program counter. The program counter address will be automatically increased. Then it will read the next continuous instructions. When it read the call instruction, so that time it has to switch over to the subprogram. So, it will store the current address into the stack pointer by using the push instruction. Then now the new address which is the 4000 is loaded into the program counter. So, the 4000 is the starting address of the subprogram. Now, the subprogram will be continuously executed. After reading the return RET instruction, it indicates return to the main program. Now, it will pop the data which is the address of the main program, read from the stack pointer. By using that, now the 5008 is loaded into the stack program counter. Now, it will start to continue the execution. After reading the halt instruction, now it will terminate the main program. This is a flow of execution when for the subprogram or in the interrupt service routine. So, what is interrupt means? Suppose if you are reading a novel, so that time you heard a ring which is a one courier, you have to get it. So, what you have to do? So, that time you will arrange the bookmark to the book your novel, then you are going to get the courier. Suppose the courier is in the name of your father, you have to keep that courier on the table, then you are written back to the your novel, then you are start to continue your reading. So, that time how you are written back to the proper place of the novel means with the help of the bookmark. So, here the bookmark is like a stack pointer. With the help of the stack pointer, you are reading continuously or you are returning to the proper place in your or proper page of the your novel. So, this is the interrupt. You are doing the current work. So, that time you have any abnormal sounds or any request from the external, then you have to respond it, then you return back and continue the work without suffering the any additional process. So, the interrupt is classified as the three main categories, that is how we are enabling the interrupt. enabling by the hardware or software, it is classified as hardware interrupt and software interrupts. Whether the interrupt can be enable or disable, how we can perform that is classified as a maskable interrupt and non-maskable interrupt. Third one is after the interrupt getting the request, it has to switch over to the location, whether it knows the address or unknown to the address. So, based on that it is classified as a vector address and non-vector address. So, first we will discuss the maskable interrupt. Maskable interrupt means that interrupt can be enabled or disabled by the software. So, for that we have three instructions which is DI, EI. These two are the main instructions. Then RET is in 8085 it has the three instructions for the interrupt. The first one is DI, DI means disable interrupt, EI means enable interrupt, RET means return from the interrupt service routine. So, with the help of these two instructions we can enable or disable the interrupt. That kind of interrupts are called as a maskable interrupts. That interrupts can be delayed or rejected based on the type of the interrupts. So, generally how we are defining the maskable interrupt means interrupt can be enabled or disabled by the instruction which is called as a maskable interrupt. When the interrupt can be enabled, but cannot be disabled, that is the non-maskable interrupt. It cannot be delayed or it cannot be rejected, that is the non-maskable interrupt. So, the interrupt cannot be disabled by using some instruction which is called as a non-maskable interrupt. Then how we are masking the interrupt means by writing some instructions we are activating, but we cannot disable the instruction. When any critical condition is occur, then it automatically disabled. So, this non-maskable interrupt mostly used for the power failure conditions. So, once the interrupt is requested, then what is the function of the processor? Processor complete its current work, then it has to switch over to the subprogram or interrupt service routine. So, before switch over it has to know the address where to switch over. So, based on the whether knowing the address or unknowing the address, it is classified as vector address or non-vector address. Suppose you are the student newly joined in your class, the principal asks you to meet or the attender asks you to meet the principal. Can you meet the principal without any help? Did you know the room? First you couldn't know the room. So, first you have to get the address or the room details from the attender or any other your classmates. After getting the informations you are going to meet the principal. So, that kinds you need some external help to know the principal address. The same attender again call your class teacher to meet the principal. Now, the class teacher directly meet the principal without any help, because she know the address of the principal room. So, based on that here also the ma'am is classified as a vector address because she know the address, the student does not know the address. So, he need the help from the external, that is why it called as a non-vector address. We have discussed the details of vector interrupt and non-vector interrupt. So, the student have to meet the principal with the help of the attender. So, that is the non-vector interrupt. The teacher can meet the principal directly because he know the address or the room details, that is why it is a vector interrupt. So, how the vector and non-vector interrupts performed in the 8085 microprocessor. So, vector interrupt, the address of the interrupt subroutine is already known to the processor, is classified or called as a vector interrupts. It is a pointer where the interrupt service routine has stored in the memory location. So, the address of each interrupt is stored in the table which is called as the interrupt vector table. So, in 8085 we have 4 interrupts which are called as the vector interrupts, which is tabulated. So, the trap RST 7.5, 6.5 and 5.5 have the specific address. So, once the interrupt is activated, it directly goes to the specified address which is 0024. Once the RST 5.5 is requested, then the processor directly jump to the 002CH, because these are the vector interrupts, it knows the address where to switch over. The another one is non-vector interrupt. The processor does not know the jumping address of the interrupt service routine. So, without knowing the address it would not follow the interrupt service, but it has to do the work or it has to respond to the request. So, some external device is placed to help to the or help to find the address of the service routine. So, the interrupts based on the availability, it is classified as a hardware interrupt and software interrupts. The hardware interrupt means hardware pins are available. So, by with the help of external device or peripheral device, it requests and process it. Software interrupt means by writing some instructions we are activating the interrupts. So, in 8085 it has a 5 interrupts which are named as trap, RST 7.5, RST 6.5, RST 5.5 and INTR. So, the trap, these 5 are the input to the processor. So, it represents these 5 pins are connected with the external device. When the external device wants to interrupt or wants to service with the help of microprocessor, it will send the interrupt request signal. Then the processor, after completing its work, then it will send to the specified location. The last one is INTR, which is named as a interrupt request. Interrupt request which have the acknowledgement signal INTA, which is a active low signal. So, this is also called as a handshake signals. So, this INTR is activated by the mainly used for the software interrupts. 6 pins available in 8085 for the interrupt process. Among the 6, only 5 pins are the interrupt pin or interrupt request pin. The 6th one is the interrupt acknowledgement only for the interrupt request pin. So, now we will discuss the each interrupt in detail. So, trap interrupt, which is a non-maskable interrupt, and level and edge triggered interrupt. Level and edge triggered interrupt means actually we are giving the pulse in this format. This is the low level, all of you know that this is the low level, this is a high level. So, this is called as a high level, this is a low level, because 0 and 1 we are using, this is a high level, this is low level. Then edge triggering means, so these two, when the interrupt is activated by the low level, that is the level triggered, or high level means it both are called as a level triggered. When the interrupt is enabled by using the edges, edges means the level changing from low to high or high to low, these two are the edges. So, what they are saying, these two are edges which is used to activate the interrupt. So, based on these 4 signals, either low level sensitive or high level sensitive or positive edge triggering or negative edge triggering. This is called as a positive edge triggering, this is called as a negative edge triggering, because the value rising from 0 to 1 volts, that is why it called as a positive edge triggering. When the voltage is reduced from 5 volts to 0 volts, this is called as a negative edge triggering or falling edge triggering. So, based on these 4 levels, the interrupts are activated. The trap signal is activated as a edge triggered and high level. So, it indicates positive edge triggering with a high level. So, first it has to change the level from low to high, then it has to stay on the high level. After identifying these conditions, 2 conditions only, the trap is activated. Once the trap is activated means the processor will respond to the corresponding service routine. So, the trap has the highest priority. We have 5 interrupts, among the 5 interrupts this is a highest priority. Then we know the address where to switch over, that is why it also called as a vectored interrupt. So, what is the meaning of edge and level triggered interrupt means trap must go high, then remain high until it is acknowledged. So, this interrupt mainly used for sudden power failure. It executes the ISR and send the data from the main memory to back up the data. We know that the trap cannot be masked, but can be delayed by using the hold signal, because what we said, it is a non-maskable interrupt. Non-maskable interrupt means we can enable the interrupt, but we cannot be disable the interrupt. When it will be disabled means after meeting the specified condition. Suppose you have specified the power failure, once the power failure is occur, it automatically disable the interrupt. So, that time it will read the corresponding subroutine programs. So, after identifying the interrupt, it goes to the address of service routine. This is a interrupt service routine address which is 0024H. That is why it called as a vectored interrupt. Can you mask the trap interrupt? Yes, we can mask the interrupt by resetting the process. That is no other way to mask it. We could not mask the trap interrupt by writing the instructions. If you want to mask the interrupt, we have to reset the processor, then you can mask the trap interrupt. The next interrupt is RST 7.5, that is restart 7.5 interrupt. This is the next highest priority. Then it is a maskable and edge level triggering. So, this is mostly used for the positive edge level triggering. So, here maskable interrupt means it knows the address where to switch over. So, it is a maskable interrupt, then it is a edge level triggering. So, positive edge, the level changing from low level to high level, then the corresponding interrupt will be identified. Once the processor is identified, the processor temporarily suspend its work, then switch over to the specified address which is 003CH. So, how we are masking the RST 7.5? It can be masked by resetting the microprocessor or by using the DI instruction. So, the RST 7.5 instruction can be masked by writing the DI instruction and also by resetting the microprocessor. What is DI instruction? DI is disable the interrupt. So, by instruction we can disable the interrupt. Next interrupt is RST 6.5 and 5.5. These two are maskable interrupts, both are same only, both are level triggered interrupts. This RST 6.5 have the third priority, RST 5.5 is the fourth priority. Based on the trap RST 7.5, 6.5, 5.5 the priority level is reduced. Trap is the highest, then RST 7.5, next is RST 6.5, then RST 5.5. So, these are the maskable and level triggered interrupts. So, these two interrupts can be disabled or reset or masked by using the DI instruction and SIM instruction. SIM instructions will be discussed in the next episode. So, the next interrupt is INTR. INTR is the last interrupt in the 8085 instruction. This also called as a handshake interrupt because it have the acknowledgement signal. That is why it called as a handshake signal, which have the lowest priority, which is a level triggered and maskable interrupt. This interrupt can be reset by using the DI instruction and also SIM instruction. So, once the INTR request is received, INTR is a active high signal. Once the interrupt request is received, then the processor start to execute the instruction. The 8085 check the status of the INTR signal during the execution of each instruction. Then if the signal is high, then 8085 complete its current work, then send active low signal on the acknowledgement signal. The request is active high signal, acknowledgement is active low signal. Once it identify the request signal is high, then it suspend its current work, then it switch over to the specified location after sending the low signal on the interrupt acknowledgement signal. So, after receiving the acknowledgement signal, the present address will be loaded on the stack pointer, the new address where to switch over, that address will be loaded on the program counter, then it will continue the program execution. So, this is a summary point of the interrupts. What are the interrupts we have discussed? So, we have discussed the trap instruction RST 7.5, 6.5, 5.5 and INTR. The trap is a non-maskable interrupt, that is why it cannot be maskable. So, we are giving as a no. Then it has a specific address where to switch over. So, it called as a vectored interrupt. RST 7.5 was a maskable interrupt and also vectored interrupt. RST 6.5 was maskable interrupt and vectored interrupt. RST 5.5 was maskable interrupt and vector interrupt. Maskable interrupt means the interrupt can be disabled, enabled by software, that is a maskable interrupt. In non-maskable interrupt means the interrupt can be enabled, but cannot be disabled by the software. INTR is interrupt request, which is a maskable interrupt, but it is a non-vectored address. Non-vectored address means it does not know the address of interrupt service routine. So, with the help of the external device, we have to support to get the interrupt address. So, what is software interrupt means? The software interrupts, the interrupts which are activated by the software is called as a software interrupts. So, it has 8 instructions to execute the software instruction, which are named as RST 0 to RST 7. So, by writing the instruction, we can activate the corresponding interrupts. Each interrupt address we have to calculate with the help of the external device. is a single byte instruction. So, these are the instructions which are available in the 8085 RST 0, RST 1, RST 22, RST 7. So, we have a specific address which is 0, 008, 10, 18, 20, 28, 30, 38, which are calculated with the help of the RST instruction. So, we have a separate hardware to activate the RST instruction. After activating that, the corresponding number which is multiplied by the 8 to get the corresponding address. Suppose we are taking the address as 4. So, 4 into 8 is 32. So, 32 is the decimal number. The 32 is converted into the hexadecimal by dividing the 16. So, this have a 216, then remainder value is 0. So, we are writing the address as 20H. So, 00H. So, first we have to identify the interrupt number RST 0 or RST 7 or RST 3, then that number is multiplied by 8 to get the corresponding interrupt address. So, in today's session we have discussed the interrupt. What is interrupt? How we are activating the interrupt? Interrupt can be activated by using the software or hardware. For that we have a 3 instructions DI, SI and RET instructions. Once the interrupt is activated, then the processor complete its current work, then switch over to the specified location. The specified location is the interrupt service routine, where the driver program of the request is stored. So, based on that it will switch over to the location, then it will run the interrupt service routine. Then it will be returned back to the main program with the help of the return instructions. So, to execute this sequence, the program counter and stack pointer is a very important memory pointers which are used to follow the sequence of the program executions. And also we are discussing the types of the instructions, how we are activating by deactivating the interrupts. So, generally the interrupts, all functions are activated after enabling the interrupt enable flag. So, after that if the interrupts are enabled and disabled by the software, which is called as a maskable interrupt, otherwise it called as a non-maskable interrupt. Once the interrupt request is received, it knows the address where to switch over is called as a vector interrupts, otherwise it called as a non-vector interrupts. When the interrupt pins are available to enable the interrupts, that is called as a hardware interrupt, otherwise it is a software interrupts. So, based on today's class, I will ask only 2 questions, whether you can answer it or not. What do you mean that the interrupt is enabled after the out instruction? Once the out instruction is enabled or executing means, what is the meaning of, or what is the function of interrupt? So, its meaning is output is ready to send the data. So, now the processor has to activate the signal to transfer the data from the output device to the processor. Another one is, can you check the interrupt process in your PC? Yes or no? Yes, all of us we have checked the interrupt process. The simple example is, you have inserted your pen drive, automatically one screen will come. It indicates it's temporarily suspend its work. It asks whether you want to complete your previous work or continue with the new work. If you want to load the data or you want to write, want to do any work on the pen drive, you can do it, or you minimize it and continue your work. So, whenever any external device is connected, it automatically gives some informations about the device, that is the interrupt. Thank you.